Hello and welcome to this week's MoneyFit Live webinar. My name is Todd Christensen. I am Education Manager at MoneyFit, author of Everyday Money for Everyday People. Thank you for joining me. If this is similar, if your week is being like my week, this is going to be a crazy week. Hopefully not as crazy as maybe this past week and a half or so. Want to address a few issues pertaining to personal finance as they have to do with coronavirus COVID-19. And there is available a live chat as we go through this. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So you have questions, comments, please do feel free to address those. Okay, so let's start with the potential impact on the larger economy. Now there's no way to accurately foretell what is going to happen. These are best guesses, and opinions are going to vary all over the place. There is going to be an impact on this. Certainly to businesses. There's going to be any kind of business in international trade or any business related to travel or tourism, gatherings, events. Obviously, restaurants are going to be impacted heavily. Not just their business, but the employees who work there. Some businesses are in a position to pay them for the few weeks or month or however long it takes to get through this. But for other businesses who are not in that position, there's going to be layoffs, and layoffs mean not just for the individual, but it means there's less spending by that individual in the community and in the larger economy, and there'll be a slowdown in our economy to a larger extent. So that kind of chain reaction where the spending there then leads to lower spending at grocery stores and at service agencies and companies, there is going to be an effect, and it's going to last longer than just a couple of weeks. But keep in mind that generally our economy has been, not just the U.S., but broader worldwide, has been generally strong and healthy, was continuing the recovery, continued recovery from the Great Recession, this long, slow expansion. And so many do, and I'm among those who do expect that this will eventually be a trough, but that we will get back to a healthy economy in a shorter period that many fear. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm right, but I may be wrong. I think we all hope that is going to be the case. I just tend to be an optimist generally, but that's one of the ideas that is out there. Okay, possible effects on household finances. Let's look how this is absolutely going to have an impact on many households and homes and families. On a daily basis, obviously there's been the cancellation of any kind of community event or gathering, which means families, individuals are not going out to restaurants. They're not going out they may not even want to go out to movies. They're certainly canceling conferences and meetings everywhere and trying to do everything online. Great for online organizations or online services. YouTube Live and other programs are probably doing great business. But anybody involved with these day-to-day sort of things, gatherings, if you or a family member is involved or planning on something like that, obviously school closures, they've happened already, been happening for weeks, and they will continue to affect families, households for several weeks, if not another month. And each individual school district is going to have to decide how they're going to deal with the required number of classes in a school year, and if somehow there's going to be an emergency to get out of that altogether. But how is that going to affect a daily household? School closed, kids are at home. There needs to be supervision. The idea is not to bring them home from class so that they're not interacting with it's so that they're not interacting in big groups and spreading virus. And yet many parents are just going to have to turn around and put them in a daycare or childcare of some sort. That's not the idea. So a lot of families are obviously going to have a parent is going to have to work from home or take time off. And then if you start to look at quarantines and the effect that have, obviously travel bans is more than just an inconvenience at this point. It's affecting businesses and so forth. So loss of bonuses and incentives for any organization, anybody who works for an organization that's going to see the slowdown, the contraction here. But there will be some potential layoffs. We should expect that. Hopefully it's not as widespread as many fear. Income loss and reduction. Here's where if you are having to be at home with the kids, or a family member or somebody else, adult is going to be home with the kids, they are now no longer working, they may be using PTO for their paid time off. That may be able to minimize the impact on the household. But what does that say for down the road? That means this summer and this fall, we will have less PTO unless businesses somehow come together and agree that we're just going to increase PTO across the board for everybody because of the challenges we've had. But then that again means less production in the business and slower recovery. So there's no easy answer here. But less PTO means down the road, less travel, less vacation, less tourism. And again, the economy will not recover as fast. Obviously, daycare, childcare expenses are already a huge issue in families around the country, and now to add to it with this pandemic, it's a tough pill to swallow. There are going to be impacts. There are already impacts, and this is what the direction we're headed. So here's 3 steps we should be taking or continue to take to stabilize our personal and household finances and not overreact or underreact. But here you go. 3 things. 1, make sure we have a spending plan, prioritize spending. The worst time to make important decisions is when we're panicking and when we're not thinking clearly. We start to get off track. And if we're talking about buying things, spending money on things, it means our money is going toward what we're worried about and fear about rather than what is most important right in front of us. So prioritize our spending. Obviously, we need to have appropriate levels of food, and our housing needs to be taken care of. We need some clothing, but at times like this, it's like we understand there's some emergency clothing, which is fairly minimal. And then there are the accessories and things like that we probably don't need at the moment. Transportation. A lot of people are going to see a lot less transportation costs, especially if your car is already paid for, your truck is already paid for, and all that you have is gasoline and insurance. Insurance is still there, but gasoline, a lot of people are traveling a lot less, so there's going to be less to spend there. Anybody working with a gas station, convenience store is going to probably see a lot less traffic and a lot less business. And so again, there's the chain reaction. But have a spending plan. If you don't have it written down, it's time to write down a spending plan, which is another word for a budget. What are your priorities? What should you spend your money on? Make sure that those priorities are covered before you worry about the emergency nature of other things. Because if you got food and you've got housing, we're going to get through this. Keep paying down debt. Don't divert your debt payments to go towards stocking up on toilet paper or whatever it is, the emergency item du jour. Make sure that you are still making your payments, because otherwise, here's what's going to happen. And it's already happened. People are using credit cards to finance these bulk purchases of items that they're probably not going to need. And so in a month or 2 months or 3 months, when the bills come due, it's just going to be called Corona debt. That's what it's going to be known as. We're going to start seeing all this debt that people cannot afford to pay back because we bought all these extra items that probably not going to need for a few weeks or a month or so that we're in this situation right now. So keep paying down your debts. That's got to be your priority. Spending plan, pay down debts, and make sure that you continue to save, not spend. This is not a time to go crazy. This is the worst time to buy everything because prices can go up, product availability is down, and it causes panic. And then we start thinking of, well, everybody's buying this, so maybe I need to buy it too. And we really don't need it. Don't need to certainly stock up on it. So those are the 3 priorities we need to keep in mind. Have a spending plan, keep paying down your debts so that they don't get out of control, because you don't want to start getting hit with over limit fees and late fees and having it hurt your credit, because then that's going to start hurting other things down the road of your insurance, car insurance and homeowners insurance. And so pay down, keep making your payments on time, and save, don't spend. Save your money. You're going to need it for your needs. If the economy does not come back as quickly as I hope, and many of us hope, you're going to need that to pay for your emergencies that you've prioritized, your survival needs that you've prioritized under number 1 there, your housing and your food and your water and some transportation and communication. Okay, so those are the 3 things. Make sure that those are taken care of above all else. All right. This is going to happen anytime you've got natural disasters or crises going on and people are panicking. You have fraudsters and scammers jumping into the fray, promising to help and make things better or to relieve stress for other people, and preying upon our natural desire to make sure that other people are doing well enough or not suffering. So be careful. Watch for these kind of frauds and scams. Anything that is promising you a secret formula, something that somebody somewhere has come up with in a lab to keep you safe, that's going to be a scam. That is snake oil. It's always been that way. They've always promised something new, something the experts don't know about, or the government's trying to keep from you. That's all a scam. Please don't waste your money on it. Put your money toward more important things. You will start to see unethical marketing practices of trying to scare you into buying things. There'll be special coronavirus packets that you should buy for this time of the year. And they are things that are going to be more expensive than you can get with the normal package. So anything that is labeled coronavirus or COVID-19 or SARS-2, whatever it was, however else is labeled, beware. It's likely is somebody trying to pay more, get you to pay more than you have to, or even buy something you don't even need. Then you've got the profiteering, which is there's stories about it that are on the news and on Facebook and everywhere, where somebody sees this coming and they get in their truck and they buy out all the toilet paper, or they buy out all the hand sanitizer in the tri-state area, and then they come back and they try and sell it for a profit online. That's called profiteering. It's not good business practice. It's not what capitalism is about. It is unethical, and there's actually companies like eBay and Amazon are actually putting a stop to it. Kudos to them. I don't feel bad for somebody who's trying to profit off of this sort of thing. This is not a time to be bilking our fellow citizens out of by charging them 3 or 4 times more than what you could buy it for in the store. We don't have a a manufacturing issue in this country. We have the items. It's our economy for the past 20 years or well, more longer than that has been moving toward this on-time delivery supply and demand model. There's plenty of things out there, but they're not being manufactured and stored somewhere. That's the old model. So because the store shelves are empty today, but that's because they typically will deliver something every day. And so they'll be coming in again the next day or in a few days. So things are going to be restocked. We don't need to worry about that. So just because something's out today, check it again the next day. Check online as well. And then beware of anybody trying to get you to buy things that are just unnecessary. These supplies that are, again, promising to keep you safe or avoid complications in the future, health-wise, or whatever it might be. That's anything that preys on your fear. If you feel that, oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think about how bad that could be. That's marketing from somebody who's trying to get you to buy something you probably most likely do not need. Save your money for food, for needed household supplies, for paying for your mortgage and rent, and transportation and communication. Keep your priorities focused in the coming days and weeks and even months. So as we move on from that, this is a fairly short webinar this week, but I wanted to get some of this information out there. This is personal opinion, much of it, but understand that I believe we're going to be okay. We'll get through this, and we'll face it again another 5 or 10 or 20 years probably. And hopefully we'll be, if you want to stock up, just like the adage, buy low, sell high. Now, we're not going to be selling high during products and service supplies during this sort of thing, but the time to stock up on these items are not during the panic, because one, we probably don't need it. Two, we're going to be spending a lot more than we should. So going forward, not a bad idea to have a supply of items that will help us get through this sort of thing. If it ever happens again in our lives, hopefully it won't. Never happened to most people in their memory. So if you do want a certificate of completion for this, go to the link down there on the bottom. It's bit.ly/MF for MoneyFit, MF COVID-19, no spaces, no dashes, no dots, nothing. And then after putting your name and phone number, name and email address, do put in the passcode. It's CDC 2020. No spaces, no capital letters, CDC 2020. And that will email you a certificate immediately. Thank you again, and do wish you all well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and continue to make positive, strong, rational decisions for your finances, for yourself, and for your household now and into the future. And if you have any questions, Todd Christensen, MoneyFit, and my email is todd@moneyfit.org. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Have yourself a great day.